You can feel it. Something has shifted. The energy is heavier, sharper, and undeniably real. The divine masculine is waking up, and it's not peaceful, it's painful. His illusions are collapsing, his heart is cracking open, and everything he built to avoid truth is burning down. But this isn't destruction, it's rebirth. This is the moment the masculine begins to remember who he truly is. The divine is calling him out of hiding, forcing him to face every emotion he buried, every truth he ran from. He's not being punished, he's being purified. You may feel his pain through the bond, waves of sadness, restlessness, or sudden emotion that isn't yours. That's because his soul is crying out for freedom. And when the masculine begins to awaken, the entire connection begins to shift. This is not just another energy update. This is the turning point, the collapse before the comeback, the breakdown before the breakthrough, the death of avoidance and the birth of truth. The divine masculine's awakening has begun, and nothing will ever be the same again. You can feel it in the air, that strange stillness before transformation. Something is breaking open in the collective, and this time, it's not the feminine who leads the shift. It's the masculine. His awakening has begun, not through peace, but through pain, not through meditation, but through collapse. Because for him, the only way to awaken was to lose control of the world he built to avoid himself. This energy feels heavy because it is. The masculine is standing face to face with everything he ran from, the emotions he buried, the truth he denied, the love he thought he could forget. The walls he built for protection have become his prison. And now the divine is shaking those walls until they fall. His awakening isn't poetic. It's raw, chaotic, and sacred. The illusion is dying, and the truth is screaming to be felt. For months, the feminine has been sensing it. Her intuition, her dreams, her body, all whispering the same message. He's breaking open. She feels his turbulence through the energetic bond, waves of sadness that come from nowhere, tears that aren't hers, a heaviness in the chest that carries his resistance. Because when one counterpart ascends, the other is pulled into the fire too. And right now, the masculine is in the fire. This awakening feels like loss. He's losing interest in things that once distracted him. Conversations feel empty, habits lose meaning, and connections that once fed his ego now expose his loneliness. He's realizing that success without soul is failure, and silence isn't safety, it's avoidance. The comfort zone has turned into quicksand. No matter how hard he tries to stay grounded in the old version of himself, it's slipping away. This is the dark night of his evolution, the dismantling of false identity. He's seeing through the masks he wore for years, maybe lifetimes. The charming persona, the emotional armor, the logic that always won over feeling. None of it can survive this light. The soul doesn't negotiate with illusion, and the divine doesn't whisper when it's time to wake up. It roars. Every trigger now is divine precision. Every breakdown is spiritual surgery. The masculine is being stripped of everything that was built on fear. He's being asked to stop performing strength and start embodying truth. It's terrifying for him because vulnerability feels like death, and in a way, it is. The death of the false self, the ego's last breath before surrender. But there's something extraordinary happening beneath the chaos. Remembrance. For the first time, he's feeling her, not the version of her he imagined, but the essence of her soul. Through dreams, synchronicities, and sensations, he's being reminded of the love that once felt like danger, but was always his salvation. The feminine isn't chasing him anymore, but her energy is everywhere, in his thoughts, his music, his stillness. Her peace is haunting him more than her absence ever did. And that's where awakening begins, when peace becomes louder than denial. He's realizing that running from the connection was running from himself. The longing he tried to suppress wasn't weakness, it was the soul calling him home. The pain he's feeling now is not punishment. It's purification. It's the dismantling of everything that isn't love, so that love can finally live through him. This week marks the ignition point of his transformation. He won't say it, but he feels it. The heat, the pressure, the pull toward something he can't explain. The divine is rearranging his entire inner world to match his destiny. What's leaving his life now isn't being taken, it's being cleared. Every delay, every disruption, every emotional surge is sacred choreography. And as he breaks open, the feminine feels it too. Not as pain, but as recognition. She knows the moment he begins to awaken because her soul exhales in relief. She doesn't need to fix him or guide him. The divine is already doing that. All she has to do now is hold peace while he learns to feel. This is the beginning of his becoming. The storm that looked like destruction is actually deliverance. The masculine is being reborn, not as the man the world told him to be, but as the light he was destined to embody. The divine doesn't destroy to punish. It destroys to rebuild in truth. And when this fire settles, he will rise, clearer, softer, truer, because pain doesn't break the divine masculine. It builds him. And this awakening, no matter how painful, is the sound of his soul remembering its power. For so long, the divine masculine believed that distance meant safety. Silence meant control. Distraction meant peace. But the universe has a way of dismantling illusions, not with punishment, but with precision. And this week, that precision feels like pressure. The walls he built around his heart are finally starting to crumble. Avoidance used to work. Work, routine, logic, the constant need to figure things out. All of it gave him the illusion of stability. But what he didn't realize was that these walls were never protecting him from pain. They were keeping him from love. Every time he avoided emotion, he delayed his own awakening. And now the divine is done waiting. The masculine energy is being pushed into direct confrontation with everything he buried. The memories, the guilt, the regret, they're all resurfacing, not to torment him, but to be healed. Because you can't awaken and stay numb. And the divine will always destroy what you built out of fear. This is the season of exposure. Every false layer is being stripped away. He can't hide behind logic anymore. It no longer brings relief. He can't numb through distraction. It doesn't work. The vibration of avoidance is incompatible with the frequency of awakening. The very energy that once kept him safe now suffocates him. He feels it in his body, the heaviness, the fatigue, the racing heart. His soul is begging for release, for truth, for peace. And truth, though painful, is the only thing powerful enough to set him free. This is where the walls of avoidance begin to break, not through a moment of enlightenment, but through collapse. The universe knows that sometimes the only way to open the heart is to let it break. And that's what's happening now. What looks like breakdown is sacred dismantling. Every ending is a divine intervention disguised as loss. Every silence is the sound of higher guidance rearranging his path. The masculine's awakening rarely starts with inspiration. It starts with exhaustion, the endless pretending, the emotional distance, the control. It's too heavy now. His soul can't carry what his ego refuses to release. So life begins to take it from him. Situations fall apart. People leave. Opportunities vanish. And at first, he blames the world. But then, slowly, he understands. Nothing is being taken from him. It's being cleared. The divine is removing everything that allowed avoidance to survive. It's forcing stillness, silence, and surrender. Because only in stillness can truth finally speak. And that truth doesn't whisper, it echoes. It tells him that love isn't the threat he thought it was. It tells him that feeling isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It tells him that pain isn't punishment, it's purification. Meanwhile, the feminine feels this collapse from afar. She senses his resistance crumbling. She feels waves of energy that aren't hers, the weight of his transformation moving through the bond. And even if she doesn't see progress in the physical, she knows, because her soul recognizes the sound of awakening. It's the same sound her heart made when she broke open first. The masculine's avoidance was never about rejection. It was fear. Fear of being seen, of being vulnerable, of being known completely. But love doesn't expose to humiliate. It exposes to heal. And that's what this stage is. The unraveling of his armor, the cracking of his defenses, the rediscovery of his truth. The walls of avoidance are breaking because his soul is tired of surviving. He's ready, maybe not consciously, but energetically, and that readiness calls in the divine with unstoppable force. The process hurts, yes, but it's holy pain. It's the kind of pain that reshapes a man into a vessel of truth. He's learning that strength isn't about holding it all together. It's about letting it all fall apart with faith. Because on the other side of collapse is clarity. And once he sees who he really is, he'll never hide again. This is the beginning of his surrender, the first breath after years of holding it all in, the first tear after lifetimes of silence. The divine masculine's avoidance is ending, and in that ending, a new version of him is being born. One that doesn't fear love, because he's finally learning that love is the truth he was running from all along. Every awakening begins with a mirror, and for the divine masculine, that mirror has always been her. The divine feminine doesn't need to speak to activate his transformation. Her energy does it for her. She is the living frequency of everything he's avoided: truth, emotion, depth, vulnerability, unconditional love. And now, as the masculine's walls collapse, her vibration becomes impossible to ignore. This isn't about chasing, contacting, or convincing. It's deeper than that. The feminine soul has evolved to a frequency that triggers remembrance in him. She has learned to detach without disconnecting, to love without needing. And that energetic shift sends a signal through the spiritual bond. I'm no longer waiting for you. I'm embodying what we are. That signal is what shakes him awake, because the masculine can't avoid what his soul recognizes as home. He feels her silence more than he ever felt her words. He feels her peace as power. The same energy he once mistook for distance now becomes magnetic, the pull of divine truth calling him back to himself. The universe designed the feminine to awaken first. Her intuition, her emotion, her empathy, all of them are gateways to divine frequency. She had to rise before him so she could hold the energetic blueprint for the connection. While he resisted feeling, she became feeling itself. And now that her frequency is pure, his avoidance has nowhere left to hide. When she heals, his triggers amplify. When she surrenders, his control collapses. When she loves herself, his heart starts to remember love. This is not manipulation, it's resonance. Two souls vibrating at different speeds until one starts to match the other. And right now, his soul is catching up. He doesn't understand why she's everywhere. Her name appears. Her energy invades his dreams. Her presence hums through songs, numbers, and signs that refuse to fade. The logic he depended on can't explain it anymore. He feels her emotion even when he tries to numb it. Because no matter how much he ran, he could never outrun frequency. The feminine's healing is the silent catalyst. Her decision to stop chasing created space for him to face his own shadow. Her self-worth became the vibration that exposed his wounds. Her peace made his chaos louder. This is the paradox of twin flame healing. What frees her forces him to face himself. And though it may look like separation, it's divine design. The universe never separates souls. It separates illusions. She needed time to remember who she is without his reflection. He needed time to see his reflection through her absence. Only through that polarity could both awaken to the truth. Union isn't found through pursuit, it's born through alignment. Right now, he feels her energy as pressure. It's in his chest, his dreams, his thoughts, an invisible force reminding him that there's more to life than survival. That love isn't weakness. That vulnerability isn't death. Every time she chooses peace instead of panic, the energy between them recalibrates. Her stillness tells his soul, "You're safe now." And his soul responds, even if his mind doesn't understand why. This is why many feminines feel waves of sudden emotion or exhaustion. It's not regression, it's synchronization. As she stabilizes in her higher vibration, the masculine system is adjusting to match it. What she integrates, he begins to awaken to. What she releases, he feels as longing. Her ascension becomes the light that exposes his shadow, not to shame him, but to guide him home. The feminine's greatest act of love was letting go. because in that release, she stopped feeding the wound and started radiating the cure. She became the embodiment of divine love, love that no longer waits to be seen because it knows it already is. And that love is now echoing through him. He may not reach out, he may not express it in words, but somewhere deep within, he's hearing it. The silent hum of her energy calling him into remembrance. And that sound is louder than any fear. This is how the divine feminine triggers the masculine's awakening, not through pursuit, but through presence, not through effort, but through embodiment, not through longing, but through love. Because her energy no longer asks him to rise, it commands him to. And the soul always obeys divine command. There comes a moment in every awakening when the soul stops asking politely, when whispers turn into storms, when every suppressed emotion, every ignored truth, every unhealed wound demands to be felt. For the divine masculine, that moment is now. This isn't chaos. It's correction. It's the universe breaking open the heart so the light can finally enter. At first, it feels like everything is falling apart. The masculine may feel disoriented, restless, even lost. Old structures no longer make sense. The things that used to ground him now feel hollow. He looks at his life and can't recognize the man who built it. The ambitions that once fueled him have no meaning. The distractions that once numbed him no longer work. This is the collapse, not of his destiny, but of the false identity that was blocking it. When the soul decides it's time to awaken, the mind goes into panic. That's what he's feeling. The ego fighting for survival. The same walls that once kept him safe are now suffocating him. And the pain he's experiencing isn't punishment, it's detox. It's every suppressed emotion rising to the surface to be cleared. Grief, guilt, anger, longing, emotions he thought he had buried are now flooding his system. Because awakening begins where avoidance ends. The masculine energy is wired for control. He was taught that emotion equals weakness, that surrender equals failure. But now, control is slipping through his fingers like sand. He's being forced to feel, and it terrifies him. Because feeling means facing truth, and truth means change. He's realizing that everything he built from ego was fragile all along. That his power wasn't power, it was protection. That his silence wasn't peace, it was fear. And when that realization hits, the emotional collapse begins. But hidden inside that collapse is rebirth. The masculine doesn't know it yet, but the breakdown is divine. The emotions he's drowning in are the same waters that will baptize him into authenticity. The tears he's fighting back are sacred. Each one is washing away an outdated version of himself. He's being stripped of false strength so real strength can take its place. Strength that isn't about control, but about presence. Courage that isn't about denial, but about truth. The divine feminine can feel this shift from miles away. Even without contact, she senses the breaking open of his soul. She might feel waves of sadness that aren't hers, sudden heart pressure, vivid dreams. She doesn't need proof. Her energy already knows. Because when the masculine begins to crumble, the feminine's light intensifies, not to save him, but to guide him through the dark. She has already walked this fire, and her steady vibration reminds him, this pain won't kill you. It's transforming you. The collapse can look messy. He might withdraw, lash out, or retreat into silence. But the divine doesn't rush this process. It knows the exact pressure required to break open the heart without destroying it. Each wave of emotion is timed perfectly. Every ending, every disappointment, every no is sacred choreography. The universe is dismantling what was never real so truth can take root. Eventually, exhaustion replaces resistance. He stops fighting, he lets the tears come. He admits that he doesn't know what to do, and that's when surrender begins. Because awakening doesn't happen when he figures it out. It happens when he finally lets go. And in that stillness, something ancient awakens inside him, the memory of who he truly is. Not the performer, not the provider, not the runner, but the soul. This is the turning point where collapse becomes creation. When the pain stops being the enemy and becomes the teacher. When he understands that the breakdown didn't come to end him, it came to free him. He realizes that the feminine's love was never meant to cage him. It was meant to call him higher. And that everything he thought he lost was actually what was keeping him small. The masculine's tears are the anointing of a new chapter. His vulnerability is the gate to divine strength. His silence becomes the soil where truth takes root. He is no longer the man who ran. He is the man being reborn through fire. So yes, it's an emotional collapse. But it's also the beginning of his spiritual rebirth. The moment his soul finally takes command. The moment pain turns into purpose. The moment the divine masculine remembers that what's dying is only the illusion. What's being born is truth. Inside every awakening man, there is a battle the world cannot see. It isn't between good and evil. It's between ego and soul, between the part of him that fears change and the part that came here to create it. This war is silent but relentless, and right now it's reaching its peak. The divine masculine stands in the middle of two realities, one built on logic, survival, and control, the other built on intuition, surrender, and faith. He can feel both pulling him in opposite directions. The ego whispers, "Stay safe. Stay the same." The soul whispers, "Let go. It's time." And this is where awakening becomes excruciating, when the old self and the true self can no longer coexist. The ego is clever. It tells him that if he just fixes one more thing, earns one more success, or hides one more feeling, the chaos will stop. It makes him believe that control equals strength. But every time he tries to fix the outside world, the inside world shakes harder. The soul will no longer be ignored. It will use restlessness, sleeplessness, and heartbreak to get his attention. Because when the heart's truth is silenced for too long, the body starts to scream it. He feels it in his chest, that pressure, that ache that logic can't explain. The divine feminine feels it too, as if her own heart is expanding with his. She can sense his turmoil, the push and pull between fear and surrender. She knows this war intimately. She fought it first. She knows that one side will have to die for the other to live, and she knows which one wins. The masculine's ego isn't evil. It was his shield. It protected him when he didn't feel safe to be soft. It built the life that helped him survive. But now, that same shield is blocking his purpose. It's the glass wall between his potential and his peace. The divine isn't asking him to destroy the ego, only to stop worshiping it, to let it serve instead of rule. The soul is whispering louder now. It speaks through intuition, through that gut feeling that tells him something bigger is calling, through signs, synchronicities, and moments of déjà vu that feel too exact to be random, through sudden waves of emotion that remind him he's not lost. He's remembering, but the soul doesn't force. It waits with infinite patience for him to choose love over fear. And that choice is what this entire battle is about. Every moment he feels torn, he's being invited to surrender. Every time he feels resistance, it's because he's standing at the edge of breakthrough. The ego tells him he's falling apart. The soul tells him he's finally being rebuilt. And both voices sound so real that he doesn't know which one to trust. But deep down, he does. Because the voice of the soul may be quiet, but it feels like peace, and peace is the sound of truth. The feminine's energy anchors him through this storm. She's no longer trying to fix him. She's simply holding frequency. Her calm presence vibrates through the bond like a lighthouse in the dark. Every time he collapses, that light reminds him, you're not failing, you're awakening. She doesn't save him, she remembers him into his own power. And that remembrance is stronger than any fear. This inner war is sacred. It's the final test before alignment. The masculine must choose the comfort of ego or the freedom of soul. One offers safety, the other truth. One keeps him asleep, the other alive. And as the battle rages, he begins to see the ego never protected him, it imprisoned him. The soul never wanted to destroy him, it wanted to set him free. So he lets go, piece by piece, of control, of appearances, of pretending he doesn't feel. And with every release, the war quiets. When the dust settles, what remains is clarity. He realizes that he was never meant to kill his ego, only to crown his soul. He understands that peace doesn't come from winning. It comes from surrendering to truth. The masculine has fought the hardest battle of his life, the one within. And now he's standing at the threshold of transformation. The war between ego and soul is ending. The man who emerges from it will not be the same. He will speak differently, love differently, be differently. Because when the soul wins, life doesn't get easier, it gets real. And that's the beginning of everything he was born to become. You don't need to wonder if the divine masculine is awakening. The signs are already here. They're written across his energy, his emotions, and his sudden inability to live the same old story. What's happening inside him is subtle but unstoppable. The divine has flipped the switch, and once that happens, nothing can turn it off. The first sign is discomfort in the familiar. The life he once found stable now feels suffocating. The people, habits, and goals that once defined him suddenly feel too small. He looks around and senses that something is off. Not wrong, just outdated. It's not that his world is falling apart. It's that his vibration no longer fits inside it. When the soul expands, the environment must change. That restlessness he feels is the universe's way of saying, you've outgrown this version of yourself. The second sign is emotional flooding. The masculine, who once prided himself on control, is now feeling everything. Tears come without warning. Memories resurface out of nowhere. He can't hide behind logic because the heart refuses to stay quiet. For perhaps the first time, he's feeling the full spectrum of emotion: grief, regret, love, longing, not as punishment, but as purification. His heart is learning how to be open again, and that process feels like both breaking and healing at once. The third sign is synchronicity overload. The divine feminine's energy begins appearing everywhere. In dreams, songs, numbers, names, and flashes of intuition that defy reason. He keeps seeing 11, 11, 222, 555, the cosmic language of awakening. He hears songs that mirror his feelings word for word. He dreams of her, not as memory, but as message. The soul communicates through pattern, not proof, and the masculine is finally starting to notice. At first, he thinks it's coincidence, but deep down, he knows better. The fourth sign is the breakdown of logic. The mind that once ran his life can no longer explain what's happening. He feels drawn to spirituality, energy, intuition, things he once dismissed. He begins to sense there's more to life than what he can see. It's confusing and humbling, but also magnetic. Something inside him wants to explore it, even if he can't define it. That's how the divine works. It dissolves certainty to create curiosity. The fifth sign is detachment from old identities. He's no longer interested in playing roles. The achiever, the provider, the performer. Those masks feel heavy now. He craves authenticity, simplicity, peace. Even in silence, he's starting to ask deeper questions. Who am I without the titles? What do I truly want? What feels real? The ego used to answer for him. Now, the silence answers instead, and that silence feels sacred. The sixth sign is mirroring the feminine's growth. As she stands in her power, he begins to reflect it back. Her peace awakens his desire for balance. Her boundaries inspire his integrity. Her surrender triggers his courage. Even without contact, their energies are syncing. Every time she chooses healing over reaction, his soul receives the update. He may not consciously realize it, but he's evolving through her reflection. The seventh sign is divine restlessness, the knowing that change is inevitable. He can't go back, even if he tries. The old world feels drained of color. There's a silent pull toward something greater, though he doesn't yet know what it is. It's his soul whispering, there's more. Keep going. He's starting to crave truth the way he once craved comfort. And that craving is the beginning of transformation. These signs don't happen all at once. They unfold in layers, like a heartbeat remembering its rhythm. But once they start, there's no return to sleep. The divine masculine is awakening, not because he chose to, but because his soul decided it's time. And when the soul moves, everything else must follow. The feminine feels it in her body. She senses his energy becoming more present, more real, more alive. She might wake up at night feeling a wave of emotion, or hear his name in moments of stillness. That's not imagination, it's synchronization. The bridge between them is reforming, not through words, but through vibration. And though he may still appear distant, something fundamental has changed. He's beginning to look within instead of away. He's starting to question, to feel, to surrender. That's the seed of union, not physical reunion, but energetic recognition. It's the moment his soul begins to say yes to what fear always said no to. So if you've been wondering whether he's awakening, he is. Every silence, every delay, every restless night confirms it. The divine is rebuilding him from the inside out. And soon, that inner transformation will begin to reflect outward, in truth, in action, in alignment. Because once the divine masculine begins to awaken, the story doesn't end, it begins. And the next chapter isn't about his collapse. It's about the moment when his pain finally turns into power. There comes a moment in every awakening when the storm quiets, not because it's over, but because the soul has learned to move within it. That is where the divine masculine stands now. The chaos that once broke him is becoming his initiation. The pain that once defined him is turning into strength. This is the sacred paradox of awakening. What once felt like death was always rebirth in disguise. For months, the divine has been dismantling every illusion he clung to. The false stability, the emotional armor, the stories that kept him safe. But that destruction was never cruelty. It was correction. Because you cannot build truth on top of what was never real. Now, standing in the ashes of his old self, the masculine begins to see something extraordinary. He didn't lose himself. He found himself. He realizes that the fire didn't burn him. It burned away what was not him. This is the moment his soul steps forward fully. He's no longer driven by fear or by the need to control outcomes. He's guided by something quieter, deeper, an inner knowing that doesn't need proof. His heart, once heavy with denial, now beats with purpose. His emotions no longer feel like enemies. They've become his teachers. Each tear has carved space for light. Each heartbreak has refined his compassion. And through it all, he's discovering a truth the ego could never comprehend. That power isn't domination, it's presence. The feminine feels this shift before it's visible. She senses his energy stabilizing, not through words or actions, but through vibration. His frequency feels calmer, cleaner, anchored. The frantic resistance has softened into quiet strength. She feels it in her heart. The connection no longer drains, it harmonizes. Her role was never to save him, only to hold space until he remembered his own light. And now, that remembrance is blooming. This stage of awakening is where the masculine rises. Not as the version the world expected, but as the truth he was always meant to embody. He begins to take accountability without shame, to express emotion without fear, to lead with integrity instead of ego. He's no longer running from love. He's learning to be love. Because love, once perceived as weakness, has revealed itself as the highest form of strength. The divine feminine's light was the spark, but this rebirth is his fire. He's realizing that everything he feared losing was never meant to stay. The career, the relationships, the distractions, all of it served its purpose. It built the walls that he now has the courage to tear down. And as those walls crumble, something miraculous happens. He starts to see the world not as something to conquer, but as something to connect with. The masculine's pain becomes his alchemy. The very energy that once kept him trapped now fuels his expansion. Every shadow he's faced becomes a portal to deeper truth. Every heartbreak becomes proof that his heart has the capacity to love again. This is not a man broken by emotion. This is a man reborn through it. The same vulnerability that once terrified him now empowers him, because he finally understands. The heart is not the enemy, it's the compass. This is also the moment when destiny begins to realign. As he surrenders to truth, divine timing starts to move around him. Opportunities, synchronicities, and new paths unfold effortlessly. The resistance that once blocked progress is gone, replaced by flow. What used to feel like struggle now feels like guidance. He's not forcing life anymore. He's co-creating with it. The feminine feels it too, not as longing, but as peace. Because deep down, she knows this was never just about reunion. It was about transformation. Both souls had to become whole on their own before they could truly meet as one. And now, that wholeness is taking form. The energetic reunion has already begun. The physical one is only a matter of alignment. The masculine's pain was never a curse. It was a compass. It led him home. It stripped away the illusions until all that remained was truth. And that truth is simple. Love was never the weakness. It was always the way. So if you're watching his journey unfold, Remember this: pain was the initiation, but purpose is the reward. This is the chapter where he stops surviving and starts living, where he stops hiding and starts embodying, where he stops running from the divine and begins to walk beside it. The storm didn't destroy him, it awakened him. And what rises from that storm is not a broken man, but a conscious one. A man who understands that his soul's fire was never meant to burn down the world. Only the illusion that he couldn't hold its light. This pain was the prophecy, and now it's becoming his power.